Hello and welcome to the Gameplay Library. My name is Ryan, and today we have our third episode of the Gameplay Library, this time featuring Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So kick back, relax, and let's take a look back at the Cold War. Released in November of 2020, Cold War is set in the early 1980s in between Black Ops 1 and 2, which is a little odd as originally this was not supposed to be an iteration of the Black Ops series, but due to disagreements between Raven Software and Sledgehammer Games, Treyarch was sent in to save the day and make sure the game was released on time. In doing so, and potentially by accident, we received one of the best campaign stories we've had in an awful long time. Broken into kind of a small bit, the campaign has you following the story of Russell Adler, Alex Mason, and Frank Woods as they, along with a few relatively useless and uninteresting side characters, track down KGB agent Perseus and stop him from completing his takeover of Operation Greenlight, which is a top secret US government plan which has nuclear devices in every capital in Europe in order to deny them to deny the Russians the use of the capitals should they ever decide to invade Europe. Yeah, okay, a little bit far fetched, I know, but it's a pretty solid storyline, and for what went on during the Cold War, in all honesty, you can see some realism and relevance to this. Maybe not a whole heap, but it's there. There is some realism and relevance to it. Pain in this Call of Duty is also relatively unique in that it is the first Call of Duty to allow for a customizable character. So just to explain, the character you portray throughout the game and play as is called Belle. Now, at the beginning of the game, you get to customize this character, including gender, nationality, and what intelligence agency you work for. This boils around to kind of just giving your character a couple of perks. Same as in multiplayer. I don't understand the necessity of it. It was an interesting side piece to add into a Call of Duty campaign experience is that element of customization, but it didn't add anything to the experience beyond just simply being able to customize something for a change. And I don't. Yeah. Another thing this game does is also has a mission tracking board. So in between each mission, you go back to a main hub area where you have your investigation board. Now this is just again simply novel, but a good way of tying in certain things, as it actually allows you to open up clues. You find these clues throughout the missions, and you are then able to use these clues to unlock side missions, which can change the tail end of the story and changes what you know coming towards the tail end of the story, which is I like it. It's as simple as that. I like it. The other thing is that it's the first time in Call of Duty that we've gone back, I think, since Black Ops 1, and we have multiple endings to a game. Now, it boils down into simply two endings to a game. I think there's about four options of how this varies. But it basically boils down to either you betray Adler, get everyone killed, and tell him basically Perseus is in this location and he's actually somewhere else, and Perseus gets away with it. So in the end, you've remained loyal to Perseus. And I will come back and explain as to how you've remained loyal to Perseus, because this boils back into the Bell character. Or, in the other circumstance, you simply work with Adler and you take down Perseus. One of which is the canon ending and one of which isn't. So the second ending where you take down Perseus is the canon ending to the game, apparently, whereas the other ending where you betray Adler, etc., and co., that is the non-canon ending. Now, I wanted to go back because it is one of probably the only criticism I have of the game is the kind of the reuse of a piece of a plot mechanism, which is the memory games, the Black Ops games like to play with you. So if we just turn all our minds back to Black Ops 1, you played as Mason Woods, who had been captured and tortured by the Russians, had Reznov somehow implanted himself into his head, and wasn't actually there, had been giving instructions, but wasn't actually there. In this, you experience some of the same, and there's no two ways about it. Bell has had memories implanted into his brain by Adler and co. So this time it's the CIA and the good guys doing it. Well, we'll put good guys in quotation marks anyway. And that's it. We've used the same plot device, and that's just the criticism I have. The main criticism of the campaign. The campaign of this game is brilliant, but the reuse of that plot device kind of makes it feel like a replay of Black Ops 1, and especially considering the first mission kind of feels like the Havana level where you kill Castro. It gives the same feeling. The meeting in the bar, the going out to the car to receive the weapons, it all gives the same feeling. And while that does seem maybe a little bit critical, I don't intend to be. This is the most fun I've had in a Call of Duty campaign in a long time, and highly recommend playing it if you get an opportunity to. So the next part of reviewing this is having a look at the multiplayer, and I did take a look at the multiplayer for this game. And to be fair, previous to stepping into the multiplayer of this game, I was fucking terrified. All I could find all over YouTube was how hacked this game was. That they could steal personal information, they could get your address, your credit card information, bada, 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 bada. I think that's all bollocks, or maybe just only exists on PC. I played a couple of hours of this game in multiplayer, and it is, again, it's just a Call of Duty experience. It's a multiplayer Call of Duty experience. It's maybe a little bit better than the rest of them. The last game I played was Vanguard. I regret that immensely. I spent a long time playing Vanguard because for some reason, every once in a while, I play Call of Duty, and it's more akin to a man seeking out crack cocaine than pleasure in gaming. But here we are. It happens, and it's not a good thing, but it's a fucking thing. So the next bit we're going to bump onto is the multiplayer of this game. Now the multiplayer is interesting. So like I said before, the last experience I have with a Call of Duty multiplayer before this is Vanguard, and I played a lot of it. Not because I enjoyed it, but because somehow I became addicted to it. Kind of like coffee and cigarettes, I needed it. I don't know why, because it wasn't that good, and I'll be fair, I had very little fucking fun on it. But I played this game. I played a little. Look, I didn't play a huge amount of the multiplayer on this game. It's 3 years later. There isn't exactly a massive audience for it. I played a bit over an hour and a half by the time I had actually done this video, and I have to admit, it's probably been the most pleasurable hour and a half of playing Call of Duty I have had in a long, long time. The system works well, the maps are fun, it's built well. I don't appreciate all the attachments on weapons or the fuckery with perks, but then that's become just me. I have seemed to become an enjoyer of something an awful lot less complex. For example, I went back and played the original Modern Warfare 4. Modern Warfare 4? What the fuck is Modern Warfare 2? I meant the original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, the remaster recently, and I like that setup, but I understand why that setup can't exist anymore. Customization is key, and this game's multiplayer offers an awful lot in the way of customization, and that's again a good thing. I dislike it myself, but to be able to manipulate your playstyle so thoroughly, it's quite incredible. Which isn't something I got from Vanguard. I didn't feel like all of the attachments and all the customization really led anywhere. It does seem to do an awful lot within the Cold War multiplayer. Um, and with the multiplayer, there is an issue. I was looking previous to playing this game, and apparently this was hacked to bits. People could steal credit card information off your PlayStation, then get your home address, all of that nonsense. Um, I played a significant enough amount of this game to say that at least on the PS4, you're safe. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing overly or actively wrong, at least as far as I could see. I didn't encounter any sort of cheating. I definitely encountered no sort of clear hacking that some people have uploaded. That seems to be purely on the PC section of this. So if you're on PC, potentially don't play the multiplayer of this game. If you're on PS4, well, you got it for free. You should probably sit and play it. It's actually really good. Now, something you may be noticing is missing from this video is zombies. And there is a very good reason as to why zombies is missing, is that since their invention, I've disliked it. I don't I don't really like zombies as part of Call of Duty. I see a lot of people who play it. I see a lot of people have an awful lot of fun playing it, and I blame none of you for it. I just don't. So I chose to stay away and not actually have a look at any of the zombies. On looking at reviews, it seems like it's one of the best iterations in years. I spent maybe 5 minutes in Vanguard Zombies, and I don't really know why. I'm fairly confident it was because I misclicked the menu, but I don't like zombies, so I'm staying away from reviewing it. I'm staying away from having a look at it, and because that's not what the point of these videos are. They're not meant to be reviews. They're just meant to be the game. Here it is. This is what it was. They turn into reviews, apparently. But yeah, I stayed away from the zombies, and I will carry on doing so for any other Call of Duty game that there is zombies in. I will not be having a look at or reviewing the zombies. It's just not something I enjoy, so I won't be doing it. So that's it. for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Like I said, you if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you got this game free in the month of July. It is absolutely worth a download and a play if you're going to bother doing so. If you're a Call of Duty fan, if you're not a Call of Duty fan, it's a 4 hour long campaign that is it's worth the 4 hours. It really is. It plays like a goddamn action movie and it's fantastic. That's all it has to be is a fucking long ass action movie that you get to play through, and that's what they delivered. And that is Black Ops Cold War. If you managed to make it this far through the video, please leave a like or a comment on the video. And if you would like to check out the description as well, there will be stuff in there. Have a good evening. Bye now.